Hello, and welcome to another episode of Just Draw. My name is Eli. I hope you're doing well, and welcome to my drawing desk for the day. Some quick updates. Did you do your cubes? Cubes and tubes. Don't forget, do them right now. I'll just be talking and going through some sketchbooks. So do your cubes and do your tubes. Why not? Do both of them. Couple of updates. Let's see. Been just plugging along, really focusing on Fist of Adam, getting that all done. I just realized that this year I'm starting my third year of doing it, which is pretty crazy to me. It's really hard to believe that it's already been 3 years of doing this. And so I wanted to do a flashback episode of part one, just to kind of see how much things have grown. I'm not sure how I can edit in an image from part one. I mentioned in another episode, I started the whole series to learn how to draw, and for a long time it just was it looked so rough that I couldn't. It would really weigh on me because it's you start things and you're like, well, it's not that good. Is it ever going to get good? Maybe it won't be, but you got to keep with it, even if everything is telling you to stop, and you even yourself is telling you to stop. No, you just got to keep with it. You got to see it through and trust that your skills will grow, because why wouldn't they grow, right? But it's really, really tough when you're in the moment and things aren't looking good and you're just like, I don't know. And I mean, it's still not the most beautifully drawn thing in the whole world, but I started it to learn, so I need to just keep with that learner's mindset, keep with it, keep trying, keep getting experimental with it, and see it all the way through. I'm hoping that once I've wrapped up the full thing, I'll have all the skills I need to tackle a couple other to tackle the next project, and then the skills there will help me tackle the next one. And just kind of keeping that mindset of every piece has a place, every block contributes to the tower. And I tell you, it's real tough, especially in the moment when you're working things and it's just like, oh, come on. But keep with it. It's all about showing up and putting in a good effort and learning and keeping with that learner's mindset. I was talking to somebody the other day that everybody says art is a lifelong journey, and this is part of it. There's no standard of when you should be able to do what, or like it's all based off of your own individuality, and it's really tough to understand that, especially at the beginning, but give yourself lots of time and space to get better. So I thought I would show off kind of my rough draft process that I've got going. The way I do it now is I'll rough these out in the sketchbook, because I have lots of room and I get to be as messy or as choppy as I want, and then I'll put it on these manga pages that I got. Because one, it helps me, I get all the practice of sketching these out, and then I get even more practice from having to redraw it again. I know that a lot of artists use light boxes to kind of put these on official paper, but I really thought that having to redo it in total would just be like another extra way of learning how to draw. And so it takes a lot longer, but so far it's going pretty well. But I thought it'd be pretty fun to kind of see how things look in the rough draft version versus the finished result, and kind of there are a couple things I changed from the rough draft to the finished products. I think this pose I ended up putting a little bit more energy into it and turning his head. It's really difficult to show where he's looking when he has no eyes, but I thought adding a shadow for his hand would help kind of cement that he's like, my hand, why? And then the problem is if these sketchbook pages are bigger than the manga one ends up being, and so I have to I end up drawing a little bit too big in the sketchbook, and then I have to kind of play around with the sizes. But it's a good progress. Get some good stuff there. This was one I redid pretty much a lot of it, and I decided to go with the straight on face and close up reaction shot instead of having kind of this medium zoom shot. Him grasping his chest, I thought would work better if it was kind of going that way, and you get another view of how close the master is getting to him. Kind of worked on that shot a little bit better, added a shadow. Having fun with it. Just as much fun as possible, really. I was really happy with how this shot looked in the sketchbook, and I wish I kind of wanted to keep with that. I liked how that foot looked, and then I think his this effect ended up looking a little bit better in the rough draft version, but I could not get that same great pose. I feel like that pose really worked here, but I went with this kind of squinting face. I thought it, kind of showed that he was still in anger, but look how bad that foot is compared to this foot. Come on. And then this effect, I wanted it to be like, to show that he had been kind of bored down, but it ended up not working too much. I wanted this kind of like to kind of show like almost like a funnel, but it didn't work all that well. I think I had a lot more debris in this as well. This one I changed up. Again, like I liked this face a lot, but I didn't like. I thought it kind of broke up the flow of this idea. So added this big hand. Little fun fact for you: these 3 shots I had to model all for myself, and so I've got pictures in my photo reel of me going like no and like slowly pulling it back. But I thought that this read really well, like waking up, jolting awake. His pillow shoots back and he's all sweaty and he's got all these speed lines, and then the speed lines kind of dissipate as he realizes he's okay and his hands are all shaky. I like how this one turned out. This one I changed up. I originally was just going to have a big shot of him looking out at this door, and I ended up, I thought I needed an establishing shot for him to look over and see that his buddy's not in his bed, and then he kind of looks and sees that there's a shadow against the wall, and kind of like, playing with this this callback, or not callback really, but from him seeing the shadow on the ground here, kind of like carrying on this bad dream that he's having. And then I think this one ended up changed a little bit. He walks in, he's all concerned about what he's about to see, and then he looks over and he sees Adam 2 just kind of chilling there. I really need to put a lot more time into doing my backgrounds, especially for structures. I'm really kind of rock and rolling with things. I'm not really measuring things out really well, and I'm not worrying too much about perspective, but really need to start nailing my perspective a little bit more. Adam 2, he's all in ink. I was actually talking to somebody yesterday about why Adam 1 is in pencil, because I thought it would make a nice little contrast. Part 1 is mostly in pencil, and then ink gets introduced as part of a plot element. And I thought that keeping Adam 1 as a pencil just makes him stand out in a really cool way, especially when Adam 2 gets put into the mix, because Adam 2 is all ink. And so they kind of make this really cool little effect where they kind of stand out against each other. And this page ended up getting changed a lot too. I could not get this angle right. I could not figure out a way to get him leaning back and leaning over. And then I was trying to figure out how to get establish Adam walking towards him and then him having to stand up. Like I was really trying to figure out a way for that to look like, as Adam's walking over, he's getting up and then he's kind of posts up there. And so I think I actually cut a page because it was just I didn't want to make it, but I ended up landing with this shot, which I thought was pretty cool. Nice big shot of Adam 2. Got some hatching shadows. I really need to get on my shadow game too. That's another big goal of mine for part 3. And then I ended up just having them just being like, yeah, just come over here. Like I kind of gave up on that kind of narrative point. And then this is when I decided to do a side by side shot. Again, kind of to show off how different these two guys are. I think it just makes such a cool effect where he's all on pencil, he's in ink, and I don't know, it just really stands out in a kind of a cool way. And I thought that, Adam 1, my goal for Adam 1 is he's going to be what I want. I want my style to evolve into. And then Adam 2 is more of a manga style character. And then Adam 3 is going to be a traditional like comic book stylized character with, heavy shadows and kind of the Loomis head method kind of head setup. So I haven't figured out Adam 4 yet, but I thought that was like it'd be a cool way to keep kind of experimenting around with these characters and kind of finalizing in on a style for them, because right now I just kind of go with whatever works for the moment. And this is the page I cut, which was Adam helping Adam stand up. Also, by the way, I'm very happy that I named them both Adam. It just makes me really happy when I say Adam and Adam. And then they were originally just going to be standing like that, looking out. But then I thought that would be covered a little bit better from here. And then I didn't plan this out too much. I had an idea that I was going with, and I ended up kind of chunking it, and then decided to go with this. And again, my cubes and tubes, I really need to keep focusing on my cubes to get them that good perspective going for it. Because I wanted the lettering to match the plane they were on, and I don't think I quite got it. But I really need to. That's something I really need to think about, because when you're doing comic books and you have, like, let's say Batman and he's staying next to a billboard, you need that image to go across the billboard at any angle, and it takes a lot of practice to figure out. And I still not quite getting it. And then he's got this big ocean of source, which is ink, and I really want this to start looking like an ocean, but that also takes a lot of work, and I'm just being lazy about it. And so yeah, this was another epilogue. I've got, I think, 1 or 2 more of these planned out before part 3 starts to kind of get people ready for it, because part 3 is going to be a pretty wild time, and so I'm pretty excited about that. Other than that, I started doing my classroom stuff again, and so here's my little sphere. This stuff is going to take a long time, and so I really need to put a lot of dedicated time in actually learning my fundamentals as cleanly as I can, and actually putting in a good effort for that. But it's, again, like that, adapting that lifestyle learning attitude and giving myself the space to do it. It's going to take a lot of time, though, but eventually we'll get there. And so here's my little cube that I was doing. Yeah, a lot of work ahead, and I luckily I've got lots of time to do it. But I've got a kind of a cool schedule set up where in the mornings I'll do my fundamental practice. In the afternoons I'll do my landscape practice, and then after that I'll do my own personal work. And then kind of I think I was thinking Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays I'll set time to specifically work on these cubes and the spheres, and putting in a lot of time on getting those fundamentals as good as I can possibly get them until they feel more natural, and then I can kind of evolve to a new learning. And then I have theme days, so Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will be specific days to practice different parts of anatomy. Like Monday would be like a leg day, so you draw like a bunch of legs. I really need to get up my time on the page. I want to get up to about 6 to 8 hours of drawing time. I was doing that in my first year, but then I kind of dropped off of it. And then on the weekends, I'll take time to actually draw out these castles instead of just doing the postcard, because I really want to get my castles looking really good, and that takes dedicated time, takes dedicated effort, and I really want to give myself the chance to do those really well. So I started this Galway one, but it's going to take me a long time. So I think making that a weekend project makes a lot of sense, and I can spend as much time as I want just focused just on this. And I had a couple of cool ideas. I think I'm going to bundle up a few short stories and start doing an anthology series if I can. I'm hoping that if I can really focus and put in an honest effort, I should have enough to do either a bi-weekly or a monthly anthology release where it's 3 or 4 short stories bundled together, and just going from there. I've been working with this community on that I found through comics on YouTube to host Fists of Adam, and so if I need to get those posted, I'm going to try and get those all posted today, so that's not just on my Instagram. And then once those are posted, we'll be really moving. I spent the last 2 years doing a lot of studies and a lot of learning and very little actual personal work, and now it's time to do the personal work. It's time to put in all the effort I can put in on it. So all steam ahead. Next weekend we got MegaCon, and I'm hoping I might bring a couple of samples to show off. This being a learner's comic, I'm not really interested in a whole lot of feedback, because I know that it's just going to get better the more I do it, and so it always feels weird to kind of seek critique for this, because it's like, I know it's not that good, but it'll get better. I just gotta give it time to get better. But I hopefully have a few writing samples I can show off, and there's a couple artists that I want to meet, and there's going to be an artist there that's doing a live drawing session that I want to check out, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And I get to go to Dublin, so all good stuff. So get on it. Get to your cubes and tubes. Don't forget those. And keep drawing. I hope you have a great time. Bye-bye.